Hi, my name is Jay Botsford. My pronouns are Z, Zir, or they, them, and I'm really excited to be featured in the Think Again Training newsletter this month. Been thinking a lot about what's been shifting during the COVID pandemic and since the 2020 uprisings. When it comes to what people are looking for in diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice training or workshops, a couple of the patterns that I've noticed are that more organizations and companies and institutions of higher education seem more open to actually engage in a more transformative way. So instead of doing the one shot, 1 hour, try to get hundreds of people into this very short session without kind of clear ideas of where they want to go, more organizations are much more willing to engage in a process to answer that question, to think through what the impact will actually be, and to go into a process that will actually be more impactful, because there's still the sense that training is going to fix everything, and training doesn't fix everything. Training can set a baseline, training can help with skills, training can help to develop your lens and give a better understanding of what's going on and start to get at what your own values and barriers and complicity and desires for solidarity and change are. But they can't make the climate of your organization better. They can't fix what's going on, and they certainly are not going to end the white supremacist practices, cis heteropatriarchal practices, capitalist practices that are embedded in your organization, our institutions, our society. Like it's a training isn't going to do that. So I'm definitely seeing, though, more people willing to have that conversation, whether or not their budget follows, whether or not it's possible to necessarily kind of create something that will be more transformative or impactful. As you know, as facilitators, we need to be able to have those conversations and also have really solid boundaries about what will be effective. Because if we just keep doing things, and I like Racism 101, which we don't do here. But many folks that are doing DEIJ work do kind of this Racism 101 or this very intro level work that isn't connected to anything else, which can be a starting point, but also unfortunately more often than not just gives people the language to sound less racist, but still be as racist as you were before. Or to sound less sexist, or to sound less homophobic, or to sound less classist, but still have the policies and practices and environment and climate, that create the inequities, that create the injustices, that we are all complicit in as part of institutions. So as facilitators, for us to be able to say, this isn't going to work, and so we are not the right people to do this with you, needs to happen on our end. On the institution end, you need to have a clear understanding of what you want to do, what you want to achieve, where you want to be, and then be open to the fact that what you think will get you there isn't necessarily what will get you there. 2 hours of training on how to work with LGBTQ plus people isn't going to get you to being a competent healthcare provider, for example. One project that I was really excited to work with during this online kind of virtual COVID times that honestly by the end of it felt like we were in the room together, was with the Youth Access Project, based in Community Action Pioneer Valley in Massachusetts. And this organization is really focused on connecting partners, building their capacity, and making sure that youth are able to access services with fewer barriers, particularly when we look at BIPOC youth, queer and trans youth of color, youth who are very low income, youth who are homeless, all of these youth who have been pushed to the margins by institutions. And although many organizations claim to be effective or have cultural humility to work with them, don't. So being able to work on that project and have months of planning, workshops that were not just 101s, but were really focused on how you're going to use your skills, how you're going to build on your competency as youth providers, as healthcare providers, as mental health practitioners, as folks who are doing social services, to do to do trauma-informed referrals, to be able to have conversations with young people around the forms that you have to fill out in ways that don't feel isolating, to be able to update those things, to simplify the ways in which folks are connecting, to actually remove barriers. That was a really, really, really exciting project. For folks who are thinking about engaging with diversity, equity, inclusion, justice trainings, maybe you're on the fence, maybe you're kind of trying to figure out if it's going to be right for you, for your department, for your institution, for your organization, for your company. Again, I would say, should you be doing this work? Absolutely. This is core to shifting our society, our institutions, to actually serve all people, to actually have a positive impact, to actually work against white supremacy, cis heteropatriarchy, and toxic settler colonial capitalism. You need to have a clear idea of what you want to be. Not necessarily exactly all the steps to get there, but where do you want to be able to have a reasonable idea of how long that's really going to take. Climate change takes a long time. Culture change takes a long time. And to be able to be open and come to a conversation to say, hey, this is what I'm thinking of. I know I need to do better. I know that we need to do better. I know my institution needs to do better. How can we work together to get there? And being able to come open, have a reasonable sense of what your budget is, what your time is, and then be able to go back to your organization and advocate for more and better once we're at a place of, yeah, this is what we need to do. So excited to hopefully work with some of y'all soon. If we do, virtually, this will absolutely be the background that you see. The plant will be gone, but my goat, life is short, eat everything, will absolutely be there. And I am particularly interested in working with medical and mental health practitioners, doing LGBTQ plus justice, doing work with white folks around white supremacy and how we are complicit in it and what we can do differently, accountability, solidarity, fat justice, and disability justice. So thank you all.